horsepower.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415 or online at ambitionelectric.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here with Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it is Truck Month at Koppel, and we are pulling out all of the lots for this gigantic event. The lots are starting to fill, and we have some great deals for you waiting in Louisville. Brand new GMC Sierra Light Duty and new Silverado Light Duty trucks. All trim levels have up to $4,000 in discounts. That's right, up to $4,000 off all new light duty trucks right now at Koppel. So do not wait. Now is the time to buy a new truck. So stop on in or visit us online at koppelcars.com. You must have a trade-in and finance with Koppel. All deals with approved credit.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lyrica. Welcome to Walk On with Nebraska men's basketball players Sam Hoiberg and Jeff Grace III. This is Walk On Weekly.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weeknights. I am Harrison Arns here with Jeff Grace III. No Sam Hoiberg today, but that's all right. Got basketball activities to attend to, so it's going to be me and Jeff cutting it up here for about an hour, and then we'll have a break there before we get to Eric Strickland and Clester Johnson with We Talk Facts, and that will go from 8 to 9 p.m. So we got a couple good shows here left on Ticket Weeknights. Just got some College World Series going again, so if you want to watch us, make sure you go to the streams on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and Allo Channel 951 to get all the streaming content, put a face to the voice, and stay plugged in. But Jeff Grace III is here with us. I know you just got back from practice. Must have went pretty long today, huh?
Actually, it didn't go too bad. I mean, lately it hasn't been that bad. We've kind of just been doing like the basics, kind of like trying to get the new people to kind of understand the offense and defense. So it hasn't been too long or like too bad. It's just basically just getting us prepared for what's to come because, you know, like once we hit July pretty much, it's going to be on from there and it's going to come at us pretty fast and we're all like kind of used to it. So just kind of getting us prepared for everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of wonder, you know, obviously I played basketball at the high school level. The plays aren't going to be as dramatic. What is that like for you when you actually got to college, when you started learning those D1 offenses? Is it a lot to take in? Obviously you don't have to give Fred Hoiberg's, you know, scouting report, but what is that like taking that in, you know, at the D1 level, defensively and offensively?
It's not too bad. I would just say like for here, like when I transferred, I would say what helped me a lot is just learning the concepts of like what something is called and then like kind of going on from there. And like when I'm on the sidelines, just watching the team in front of me, that's helped me a lot kind of grow and develop into the player I kind of want to become. So I would say just those two things have helped me really grow.
So does it take long to like kind of figure it out, or because you're in a position where you got to watch obviously and see what's going on first, but is it kind of easy to pick up or does it still take like trial and error?
It's definitely challenging at the beginning because I feel like when you like at first I would say I was overthinking a lot. So like when you overthink, you're kind of like already going on.
Yeah, the classic, you missed the pass a second late and it's turnover.
So just kind of be free and like the coaches are to help you. So what's helped me a lot is like going in to get extra like film work and like going over it with them. So like try to understand it a lot more rather than just doing it all by myself and like learning it all by myself. That's what's helped me a lot. So yes, it was challenging at first, like just because like the college aspect of everything and like you're playing at a Division I level, like that's the highest level you can play at. So it was challenging, but obviously in life there comes with perks and pros and cons at the end of the day. So I mean, it's tough, like the change of everything, but I'm sure like once you slow it down and really truly understand it, then you're fine from there on.
Yeah, I suppose a lot of it's just lingo too. It's a lot of like football.
Yeah,
you just go to a different team.
Yeah.
A lot of the same stuff you got to figure out.
And also another thing, like just don't get distracted by the noise. Like focus on what's in front of you and like just get prepared for each and every day of what's going to happen in practice.
What kind of noise do you think distracts like today's modern athletes from not locking in?
Well, no, obviously social media. That's very
that takes over everyone. Even your everyday accountant's losing his life to TikTok.
I agree. I mean that affects everything pretty much. Sleeping.
Yeah,
sleeping is a huge one. Sometimes I don't get the proper rest I need, which I've been working on lately. So that's been going a lot better for me. What you eat. has helped me a lot. Our nutritionist does a really great job of telling us like the good things to eat and the bad things to eat to stay away from. Another thing, I would just say your mind, to be honest, because at the end of the day, it is a mental game more than a physical. So, I mean, just making sure you have the right approach.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that mentally too, because if you just have a bad day, you see it all the time in the NBA, and you get to they do their scouting reports before they get drafted, and you see all these workouts. And I'll never forget Alonzo Ball must have been apparently atrocious, but he still gets drafted number 2. Summer league goes great. Beginning of the season rocky and all that, but nonetheless he did start to prove it. We're talking before the break, looks like his career is probably over, which is a bummer for people who like those true kind of play style point guards, and we'll dive into that as well. I do want to talk some NBA here, especially with the Suns, because that's new owner syndrome to me. I want to dive into that too. We see that all the time with new owners trying to make a big splash. Didn't like the trade, but again, I do want to dive into that later, so be tuned in. 402-464-5685, that is the Starter Heyman text line, so if you guys want to join the show, feel free to do so. Now, what about physically, especially just Big Ten wise? Was there, a kind of I want to say like a learning area of, I knew I was needed to get stronger, but there's certain workouts, maybe even lower body, that I'm just getting bullied out here if I don't get stronger.
Yeah, that was definitely a challenge because for me in high school, I didn't really work out as much. So like
just kind of the natural athlete.
Yeah. So coming into college, you like are kind of like showed that like hard work really does pay off, and like if you don't work hard, then the person's gonna get by you, somebody's gonna get past you, somebody's gonna get in front of you. Like all those things you do really matter. So at the end of the day, like you have to take that really seriously. I feel like we have a really good workout program. Like it like builds our muscles and everything, and like gets us in shape to play, run back and down the court. Play defense and offense,
especially with Fred Hoiberg. I feel like he demands that of you guys, because that's one thing I feel like you guys deserve a lot of credit from. Everyone thinks of like transition as offense, but your transition defense last year, I feel like that, especially down the stretch when you're losing players left and right, I feel like that really saved you guys. And just getting down on that end of the floor, it's something that's so easy, but you don't see a lot of teams do it. Even in the NBA and playoffs, like you'll see just blown possessions where you see a guy walking down the court. What was it about that team last year where that defensive transition, which is something I was really impressed by, was that Fred Hoiberg, really demanding that out of you guys? Is that something at the beginning of the year you knew had to be done and you just got better at it naturally?
I mean, obviously our coaches like really inputted that a lot. So like in practice we'd go over that a lot. But at the end of the day, like coaches really can't do a lot for you.
Yeah.
Like, it's all on the players at the end of the day. So like I'd just say like that group of like how we came together in the summer really helped a lot, and like really grew a bond throughout the season, which really helped us in a lot of like tough finishing games. So I would just say like, because on defense, like offense is pretty easy. I mean, so defense is really like the struggle in most cases. So I would just say we really focused on our defense, because offense, like, yeah, like somebody's gonna make shots, somebody's gonna miss shot, but like defense is what people should take pride in, and I feel like we really took pride on the defensive end, because we wanted to win the game, and we know like defense is a really important part of winning the game. So I would say we just locked into like the key concepts of not letting this team get as many points, or like boxing out was a huge thing for us. Taking charges, another thing, diving on the floor, being the first of the floor, that was a big thing. So I would just say like the small little concepts helped us along the way.
Yeah, and you guys' rotations, I felt like got really crisp as well, especially towards the end there. And it was kind of funny watching other teams trying to figure out the Derek Walker rotations. That was so many times they'd always want to try to double him, and then you see everyone chasing out. And then when K-State Tamanaga really got it going, a lot of teams kind of threw that one out the window, like trying to double up Walker all the time. But no, you're absolutely right. Defense, I can't get over how many teams. That's what I think infuriates me the most about the NBA. During the regular season, I get it. It's hard to play 82 sound defensive games. But in the playoffs, we saw it with the Lakers. I didn't think they had any place really being as far as they went. But as the series went on, it was their defense. I might honestly call the Lakers the second best team in the playoffs after that year, because I mean, they took the Warriors, defending champs. They beat them in 6 games. They take the Nuggets to 6 games, and the Nuggets, they beat everyone else in a sweeper in 1 game. So again, it's just that defense that just gets you through the finish line so many times. March Madness, same thing. It's your best people are always going to be your best defenders. It's something you guys really did well. There's stuff during the offseason that, because I feel like Fred Hoiberg's definitely hitting a point where he's very defensive oriented with his rosters, kind of becoming aware of that Big Ten. Does he work on quite a few drills, just defensive drills during the summer?
Like drills, meaning like just defensive drills?
Yeah, like how much time are you spending on pure? Because I've been on some, like high school teams changing coaches. Like there's coaches that just don't put as much emphasis, whether because they trust the guys or they're just heavily offensive oriented. How much time do you guys putting into that?
So we have like split segments. So the beginning will be like defense drills and stuff like that. And then the offensive segment will be after. So we kind of like really try to lock into like just getting to our spots and really knowing the position that we have to be in.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we have to get corrected and then go back and try it again, try different positions, try to be in different situations to like make it seem like it's game like. So they really stress on that a lot. A lot of our coaches do a great job just trying to help us out in the right spot. And also like for players, we watch film every night. They give us like a cleanup of the things we did in practice the day, and that helps us out a lot, just like knowing what we did wrong from right from wrong. So I would say it's been emphasized a lot through the course of our ongoing seasons.
Yeah, and you can definitely see that. I feel like just as a fan watching Fred Hoiberg, that and the players just really buying in towards the end there. But we already are up into our first break. Again, we started a little later, but that's all right. Obviously, basketball players got bigger priorities than doing a radio show. So again, if you guys want to join the show, catch us on streaming, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, as well as the Starter Heyman text line. I'm Harrison Arns. That's Jeff Grace. This is the Walk On Weekly. I'm not a walk-on. Jeff is. Sam's out, but we'll be back right after the break.
Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like getting new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best we can. If you have and perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan, we're on the brink of cleanups for all of our existing customers and have limited spots left. We trim trees, shrubs, we only mulch proper amounts. Give us a call today at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of our designers and get ready for Tailored Life's grand opening in Bennett.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides. Shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing risk we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move their accounts and become members. Now banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-4119-600 for real estate needs. Ben Bleicher, Professional Realtor Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Problem gambling affects more than the gambler. It affects spouses, children, extended family members, and friends. If you are a loved one who's struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 476-2300.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is So beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone again, and with me on the line, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you and everyone at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award, and I want all of our customers to know it's not just earned by one person's effort. It's the entire dealership. Sales, parts, and our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again the #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Experience the difference with the next level of dealer support. Your local John Deere dealer continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Our sales, precision ag, parts, and service teams are ready to serve you this planting season. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today. Great culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Back to Talk Facts on 937 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Strick and Clester.
Okay, we're going to try that again because that was the wrong rejoin. That is We Talk Facts, which is coming up later. But we're just going to pretend this never happened. We're just going to wind it back, and we're going to go back to Walk On Weekly. Again, if you guys do want to catch that, We Talk Facts is still happening tonight, and that will go from 8 to 9 with Cluster Johnson, Eric Strickland, just a couple of Hall of Famers. Awesome guys, great show. Tune into that. But for now, it is the Walk On Weekly.
Back to Walk On Weekly. Here are your hosts, Sam Hoiberg and Jeff Grace III on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Much better. So
we got it. Second time's a charm.
Second time's a charm. That's right. Again, if you guys want to join the show, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, as well as Allo Channel 951. And we got one more show after this one. We Talk Facts. Eric Strickland, Cluster Johnson from 8 to 9 p.m. But we talked a little bit about some college hoops, what's going on there. I'm sure as the summer goes forward, we'll keep diving into that. But right now, there's just so much to talk about in the NBA. And I know Jeff Grace III is an avid fan of the NBA. So we'll kind of go through this right here. First thing first, I want to start off before we even get to the draft, the Bradley Beal trade to the Phoenix Suns. I kind of had my own feelings about the grades. I let you know before the break, but there is some people that disagree with me. I'm just curious, and I'll break it down real quick, just so everyone's on the same page. So the Washington Wizards are trading 3-time All-Star Bradley Beal to the Phoenix Suns for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, handful of second-round picks, and multiple pick swaps. I have my opinions, Jeff Grace III. What do you think about that trade for both teams?
It's definitely very interesting because got some big names there.
Yeah.
But it was just very I don't understand how the Washington Wizards didn't want a first round draft pick, to be honest, because I don't, for both sides, I don't really like the trades. It's very odd to me because for the Suns, people are saying Devin Booker's gonna play point guard now, and Beal's gonna play the two. So like it's looking very interesting. Like that it could work out potentially, but like there's only one ball at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they're gonna work that out. And like they kept DeAndre Ayton, which is really interesting to me because I thought that was the person they should have got rid of.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's been there for a minute, so I kind of understand it. But I just didn't understand like the Chris Paul, like giving away Chris Paul, because if you look at like most of their games, he like was a good reason why they were so successful.
They never made the playoffs, even with Devin Booker, Aiden on the squad.
Exactly. He was the reason why they were like so successful. And it's gonna be very interesting now with the change of coach, which I don't know if they should have done that either because he was like the winningest coach at the Suns history. So I don't like the trade at all, me personally, but I mean, it is a business at the end of the day. So
yeah, the way I look at it is like it's almost like the Suns couldn't not take it. I think they saw that was on the table and like that's all they want for Bradley Beal. I'm a little surprised that the Wizards didn't look at more options because, like you said, they didn't really get a lot back.
No.
The whole Bradley Beal thing to me has just always been pretty unique. I like Bradley Beal.
Same.
His numbers they're not jaw dropping. He's 35%. Pretty much overall, about 35 from three, and he takes a lot of threes, so it dips into his field goal percentage. He's pretty much roughly 35% around the board in terms of his field goal percentage. So you get a guy like Bradley Beal, another 30 points per game kind of guy. Kevin Durant, same thing. Devin Booker, same thing. You said it. The usage rate can only be 100%. There's not 150.
No.
So if you get the ball 32% of the possessions, Devin Booker normally gets a 30. Kevin Durant, I mean, that's 92% of the possessions go to three guys.
Which means someone isn't going to be happy.
Yeah. That means the entire rest of the team is going to be just completely out of the picture if they get 8%.
Exactly.
And like you said, you're getting rid of a playmaker.
Yep.
You had two lethal scorers. Chris Paul was the playmaker. Bradley Beal, you can go watch his Washington Wizards tape. Again, good player. He was not really a great playmaker. Devin Booker, same thing. Great offensive scorer. Not a great playmaker. I'd say he's better than Beal. And then Kevin Durant, he's probably your best playmaker just due to his height and his court vision. He's always able to get those skip passes that those other guys, especially Devin Booker. I honestly think it's just because he's short. He doesn't see that a lot of times. Like it's a hard thing. Like if you're Jokic, you can just look over the court and it seems so wide open to you. But
I agree.
They don't have a playmaker. And I really don't know what they're expecting to happen with Booker to like make that huge step to all of a sudden be distributing to two more. Like, the only thing that give me hope of the Suns is you're going to have spacing. So I hope you can make the pass. You get those three guys out, you're going to have to you're going to have to cover them all.
But then like also another thing is like coming off the bench, I'm kind of struggling now because like if you saw in the playoffs, Andrew Shaman had a great game coming off the bench, like shooting threes and everything. Like, I mean, they have Cameron Payne, but I mean, that's really all I know as of right now. Like, I don't know anyone else coming off the bench right now. Like, maybe TJ Warren, Terrence Ross. I mean, yeah. But
not
like,
big names, though.
No.
Not like your KCP, your Mike, it's
like not role players.
Yeah, not even like you'd even take Brown off the Nuggets.
Oh, 100%.
Like a role player like that. But right now, yeah, that was already their problem, was a lack of a big, behind Ayton. And it really killed them in that finals with the Bucks. Was that 2-3 years ago?
Yep.
And they just couldn't stop Giannis. They didn't have the size. So again, I call it new owner syndrome because they like to make these big trades, these big splashes. Feels like they always try. Same thing happened with the Timberwolves, and they got Rudy Gobert. That does not look like a great future.
I don't think that was a good fit either because
new owners, man.
Cat's like he's always been playing the 5, now he has to play the 4, which is so very different. And he has to get used to playing another position, which I don't know.
And everything inside is going to be pretty clogged up. You don't.
Exactly.
Rudy Gobert is not spacing the floor for you. If you want to kick him out, like guys are just going to continue to sit in the paint. They don't care where he's at. The only time they care is if he's near the rim. And even then, he lacked. And for how tall he is, Rudy Gobert will always be the most frustrating offensive player to me.
Oh, 100%.
He's athletic too. He's not even like super unathletic guy. He's a little slower, but he can get up there.
He's even like frustrating when I play him in 2K. Like, it's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, I would. He's one of those guys that 2K stats don't quite line up for. Do you ever play with Matt Miller on 2K
when
he's on the Miami
He's on
Heat?
my team.
Oh, he is a cheat
He's
code.
a bucket.
I'll never forget playing Matt Miller when he was on the Heat. He was better than Steph Curry in any of today's
Oh, I
games.
agree.
He was just insane.
He's a bucket.
Yeah, I would. He got banned. That Heat team got banned just because of Matt Miller. It was ruining a lot of friendships back in the day. Those old 2K games, man. You had some oddball players.
Oh yeah,
that just had the perfect layup
like
animations.
Shane Battier.
Yeah, Shane Battier is another good one. Austin Rivers, sneaky good 2K player. They just have all the layup
good.
animations.
For sure.
Yeah, man, I can go for
Gordon Hayward back in the day too.
Gordon Hayward was nice.
On the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, man, that was prime Gordon Hayward. That's when he had the blue mattress commercials going on. But yeah, dude, I could do a full hour on 2K. I spent so much time. That's it's kind of funny. That's how I get a lot of my names.
Mhm.
Like, obviously you watch NBA, but you start playing 2K.
Oh,
it's honestly like homework of the NBA.
Facts.
You understand who's on where, and especially if you're going to play GM mode, then it starts getting really interesting. But of course, I turned that salary cap off because I'm trying to get.
got to.
But yeah, anyways, I will say this draft, or excuse me, not draft, this trade with the Suns, I did like it for the Suns, and I hated it for the Wizards. The Wizards didn't get anything.
And they just lost Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah, Kyle Kuzma gone.
Kristaps Porzingis hasn't been the same.
They just took steps backwards, and we'll see what happens. Like Chris Paul, the only thing.
And I hear Chris Paul might not even be on their team anymore. He might be going to LA, back to the Clippers.
That could work for them. I will say, Chris Paul is still a really good player.
Oh, 100%.
If you're trading him for injury reasons because he's getting older, his production has dipped, but you can't replace that IQ.
Still in though.
Mhm.
Still knows it well.
Yeah, he might not shoot the ball, but he can make her in the right spots when you take your shots wide open.
And he's gotten a lot better of like knowing the people on his team, try to get
Mhm.
them open and stuff like that. Like he knows the game so well where like he doesn't have to like do the things he used to do.
Well, Ayton's gonna suffer too. That pick and roll game is
100%.
what Ayton fed off of with
Mhm.
CP3. Well, I don't know. Bradley Beal, he's okay on the pick and roll. Like he's a good pick and roll player, but again, it's just the playmaking. That's what concerns me the most. And if you're the Wizards, it felt like you got the silver platter and they take the lid off and there's literally nothing. Like
Yeah.
that one really confused me. And for the Suns, we'll just see. I could be wrong. If it felt like they just zagged and they understand everything we're saying and they're just like, we'll just score. We'll outscore everyone. Who cares about the defense? Because defense is going to be bad. Like just period. It's not going to be a great defensive unit unless they make some more trades. But again, that April, that's what it looks like. If they're in that, but if you're $17.5 million over that luxury tax, you are pretty much stuck with the roster you got going into the season. And the reason why that new CBA NBA agreement was such a big deal is because normally they're like, hey, we had this meeting and agreement. It'll take place in 2027.
Mhm.
They had a meeting and then it's 2024. It's starting up. That's kind of what happens when you have players like James Harden, Ben Simmons playing merry-go-round like that. There's repercussions to that. And, I don't know. I get upset at that. And part of me hates the CBA agreement because it's going to hurt those middle-class players, especially payroll-wise. But I do wonder if it needed to happen to kind of stop all this crazy middle-of-the-season nonsense where all these teams, you get a James Harden jersey and he's gone in 2 months. Like,
Facts.
as a player playing D1 basketball, do you have any issues with players the way they were kind of handling these past few seasons, like hopping around? Do you think you don't necessarily owe them loyalty to the extent where you need to finish out your season there?
Like with building, like it's just like moving.
Just as like a fan, like do you respect like all of James Harden's decisions, kind of the way he handles things, just moving around? Like, are you a fan of where players are way more free to roam around the NBA and you might see Kevin Durant in a Warriors jersey and at the end of the season you're going to see him in a Suns jersey?
Well, from the outside looking in, no. But if I was them and I got more money somewhere else and like this is my job each and every day, I have a better opportunity to win a championship. Nowadays people look at that championship and kind of get like see like trophies and everything in their eyes and like get like big feelings when like they go in for a move like that, because like obviously like you don't really get talked about unless you win a championship these days. Like scoring, who cares? You have to win a championship, but then like I'm sorry,
Even guys
but,
like LeBron's
yeah,
legacy
exactly.
right now is hanging on rings and he's got 4.
Mhm.
It's kind of crazy.
Like it doesn't make sense because like if you look at it, like I just don't like how we judge people off of like championships, because we've had some really great players not even win a championship, and they don't even get talked about anymore.
Yeah, unless you're on TNT.
Exactly, Allen Iverson.
Yeah,
don't really hear much of him anymore.
Nope, just some old YouTube highlights.
Tracy
from time to time.
McGrady.
Yeah, Tracy McGrady is a good one. Let's see, Barkley,
CP3.
Unfortunately, is probably going to join that.
He gets hated so much too. Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, Russell Westbrook's going to be an anomaly for the NBA to figure out down the roads.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like all-time rankings, Russell Westbrook. I have this little list I make, and I'm waiting for a day when I reveal it. Maybe at the end of the summer here on my podcast. But he moves up and down the list so much for me.
Mm-hmm.
He was
I can see that though.
Going way down, and then he had that Wizards year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, maybe it's not, maybe it's not a Russ problem. Maybe it's a team problem. And trying to decide right place, right situation is so hard. There's so many NBA players that could have panned out, but they just get to the wrong team.
I agree.
And then they, like you said at the first segment, confidence is so big.
Oh, it's key. I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't have confidence, then what do you have?
Yeah, and it shows a lot. We keep talking about Lonzo Ball. It's fresh on my memory because I'm a Bulls fan, and it's a bummer that he's probably out.
Yeah.
But he's the guy that really, I feel like, blossomed once he got the confidence back.
I agree.
And unfortunately, probably won't see him play again. But he's a guy that was just brutal to watch early on. His shot, he fixed his shot, and then found a way to get confident.
Yeah,
and it was a good jumper. I mean, he was hitting 40% with that three, especially you put him in the corner. So much of that confidence is absolutely huge. But yeah, right place, right situation. And, maybe we'll talk about the draft a little bit too. But, I am curious to kind of see how that all works out. Is there a wrong spot for Victor Wembanyama?
Is there a wrong spot?
Yeah. Is there a city that he could go to where you're like, this actually might hurt your career a little bit? Or is he just so overwhelmingly one-of-a-kind draft prospect?
I feel like wherever he goes, anybody would use him.
Yeah.
So I feel like they'd automatically find a way. So wrong spot, no. But
I think Timberwolves
for his game, yes. Or I was thinking maybe the Thunder with Chet coming back.
Yeah, that'd be a weird one.
Which would be very interesting.
Which the Spurs will, to be fair, Spurs got him pretty much bagged up, but just for hypothetical sake.
Nuggets, I can see him on the Nuggets, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it really just teams with another big.
Yeah.
That's just going to hurt his kind of play style.
I agree.
And that just happens a lot, though.
Mm-hmm.
And it's they tried to draft a guy and hope to develop him behind another star.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Ingram's a good one.
Yeah.
If he wasn't drafted to the wrong team, but once LeBron landed on that team, his career took a huge hit because he played LeBron's role, essentially. And yeah, it just didn't work out for him. Young guys in particular, I feel like you can only have a couple of veterans, not a couple, but a few veterans around him. Like what the OKC's doing, they had kind of Chris Paul in there, show SGA the ropes a little bit, and then he took off, and now all those young guys, and they just have picks to come. They can just keep, trading away and adding players. But yeah, I'm trying to think of more names of players that just got a horrible start to the league. Might have to look that up. We'll look that up over the break too.
But a team that I like that's very young that doesn't really get talked about that much is the Orlando Magic.
Yeah,
I like them a lot.
Yeah, Markelle Fultz had a nice little miracle story.
That's true.
He had one of the weirdest injuries, and
he did have one of the weirdest injuries.
Do you remember what it even was?
Was it his shoulder?
Yeah, it was the shoulder injury, but the lingo. I tried breaking it down, reading it.
I'm pretty bad with lingo.
Because if
especially that kind of lingo.
Yeah, it was insane. He couldn't shoot free throws. He couldn't hold his shoulder.
Because if you see in the video, it was just awkward.
It was so weird, and I can't believe he turned it around. It looked like he's still a bust technically, but due to unfortunate injury, that's just insane how that happened. But yeah, shout out to him for turning around, and that confidence is huge. But I will send it to break here. But I do want to on the next segment. We're at a point now in the NBA where we have so many great players. I kind of want to go through the Mount Rushmore of the most influential players of the NBA.
Throughout the whole thing?
Guys that the next generation saw them and they changed their play style. So I kind of want to dive in onto that next one. I feel like there's some definitely obvious names, but maybe some underrated ones as well. So we'll throw it to break here on the Walk On Weekly. I'm Harrison Arns. That's Jeff Grace III. No Sam Hoiberg this week, but he should be back next week, so no worries there. We'll send it to break and be back real quick.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like getting new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you as we can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan or brink of spring cleanups for all of our existing customers and have limited spots left. We trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give us a call at 442-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of our designers and get ready for Tailored Life's grand opening in Bennett.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? Worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish, and don't sleep on their sides, shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and loans are, the amazing we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say
Or about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Gambling affects more than the gambler. It affects spouses, children, extended family members, and friends. If you are a loved one who's struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 476-2300.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 97 The Ticket every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SutterHeyman.com.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone again, and with me on the line, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you and everyone at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award. I want all of our customers not to earn one person's efforts. It's the entire dealership, sales, parts, and our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Our sales, ag, parts, and service teams are ready to serve you this planning season. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and a strong team culture makes it job career. Gaina offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Walk On Weekly. Here are your hosts, Sam Hoiberg and Jeff Grace III on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into the final segment of Walk On Weekly with Jeff Grace III. I'm Harrison Arns. And again, if you guys want to join the show, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685, as well as catch us streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter at Allo Channel 951 for all our Allo subscribers out there. And again, feel free to join in. And no Sam Hoiberg this week, but it should be back next week. And you can always catch the podcast at theticketfm.com. But before we left the break and text line, feel free to join in as well. I asked Mount Rushmore of most influential NBA players. And I was thinking about this earlier today. I saw it on social media. Thought it was a good kind of segment to jump off of. So I got mine. You just want to go back and forth here, one by one, to get to four?
Yeah, we can do that. That's
okay.
actually perfect.
This is in no order. That's why I like Mount Rushmore, because you're not ranking them. You're just throwing four together.
No doubt.
Number one, I'm going to go Kobe Bryant. Mamba mentality.
That's going to be mine too.
Yeah, just an easy one.
For
Mamba
sure.
mentality, you can't run away from it. It's you ask players in the NBA today who their favorite player was. It's not Mike. It's not. Some of them are LeBron, but it seems pretty dominantly Kobe Bryant. What is your favorite player?
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant. Me too. See, it's just I think it's hard to beat that
I'm on
one.
my case.
Jeff Grace has him on his screen on his phone cover. So again, I feel like that one's kind of a layup. Just not talking about the tragedy, even if none of that, like he just by far had everyone loving him on the way out the door. And the way he went out of the league, the same way, like the thing everyone loved Kobe Bryant for, that's how he left that last game versus the Jazz dropping 60. Shot horribly till the third quarter and then just does the Kobe Bryant. I can go 1 for 40, but I'm going to make the last ones that count. And yeah, he's by far. So I had Kobe Bryant. That was yours as well?
Yep.
Okay.
Because like if you actually look at it, like him off the court, like is so crazy. Just like because I've watched a good amount of podcasts of like just people talking about him or like just like him talking on the podcast and like the way he speaks is just speak like really reaches you in a way like that really gets you thinking of like what life really is at the end of the day. So I just liked his like whole mentality of like him being a father. Because, like, obviously that's who I'd want to be for my kids one day. So he's just, like, a great person to look up to. And I feel like a lot of people look up to him. Like I feel like even if, like let's say, like, the tragedy didn't happen, like, he would still be talked about.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And even after the end of his career, he said his biggest accomplishment was just being a dad, stuff like that. Just his second chapter, after the NBA was – yeah, I was super excited to hear everything he had to say. He's so smart too. That's one thing I was like always amazed by. Is like he's very well educated.
Yeah, and a lot of people like if you see it, a lot of people really were looking forward to his next chapter, and like they never really got to saw, which is a bummer. But have you ever read his book?
No, I actually haven't.
It's really good. You should do it.
Yeah, that one needs to be put on the list. I'm actually just wrapping up the series I'm getting through, so I should throw that one next. But moving on, next player I got talked about this before the break as well. You're going to see a lot of middle schoolers shooting half quarters, deep shots, Steph Curry.
Yeah.
For better or worse, I'd say for better. Obviously, not all the kids are ruining their jumpers, but there was a chapter there where it was a little insane. I'd go to the auditorium when Steph Curry was like really peaking, and it was just chaos in there. Like no one was in the paint. Mike and Drill was out the window. No one knew what that was anymore. But again, just an amazing player, humble as well. Another family man. It seems like family men do really well on this list. I think it's just something everyone roots for. But yeah, Steph Curry, he's still doing it today. His jerseys, once again this year, #1 jersey sold. Doesn't matter, if they fall short of the playoffs, not even make it. Like he's just dominating in jersey sales. He's not my favorite player, but like it's hard not to respect what he did to the game. Like shooting that many threes at that clip just seemed unreal. And now everyone's doing it. I think he belongs in there. I don't think it's even close just because of the style. Like that's just a completely new style we never saw.
For sure. I would say that like that was another one of mine because
I did say we'd probably match up on a lot of these.
If you look at it during that time period, like you were really hearing a lot of LeBron.
Yeah.
So much LeBron. And then like the Warriors came around and like now you see like LeBron conflicting with the team, like actually really struggling. And like you said, shooting from that deep, like we've never seen it, like off the dribble, catch and shoot. Like he really could do it all.
Yeah. Okay.
And his defense has improved a lot.
Yeah, he
through the
does
past
gotten a lot
years.
better. I just wish his turnovers would clean up. That's the one
That's
thing
true.
about Steph Curry that drives me nuts.
That's true.
He never got the turnover, but that's not even him. I wonder if that's like the Steve Kerr, just if there's one fault in his offense with a lot of movement,
Mhm.
is that turnovers are just way more likely. Because it's not like he's the guy committing all the turnovers.
Yeah.
Like the Warriors have just been bad on turnovers, period.
That's true.
Since Steve Kerr's really been there. But if you're winning championships, how much do you want to nitpick? So moving on, next player. This one's tough for me because I wish I could just kind of put two people because I really feel like they both deserve credit. But I'm just going to go with Magic Johnson. That era with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, Boston versus the Lakers, that was a rivalry that I feel like just ignited the NBA on fire. And that became Showtime Lakers versus the gritty, Larry Bird, slow, unathletic guy. But that was just an absolute killer. So I wish I could throw Larry Bird and Magic Johnson together, but I think I'd give it to Magic Johnson. Larry Bird, a legend in himself. I think Magic Johnson's just more popular. And obviously, he just has a ton of legendary stories, along with Larry Bird, the left-handed game, Magic Johnson switching to play the 5 in the finals and ends up dominating at the 5 position. So I throw Magic Johnson up there. His passing, the Showtime Lakers, like what he did for LA as a brand, just completely revolutionized like the NBA as a whole. Like he brought so much fandom to them. And then again, can't throw Larry Bird on there, but I would like to give credit to him too, because those two coming up at the same time, that was just a gold mine for the NBA. It was so easy to market both of those players.
I agree. For mine, I'd say Bill Russell.
That's a good one.
The reason why I say this is because I don't know if you've watched the documentary on Netflix. It like just came out not too long ago. Like another guy who, as you can see, was an activist for a little bit. Really like empowered the youth of like the culture and everything. How blacks were being treated during the time. He really stood for that and like wasn't going to play the game if like things didn't get corrected. So the things he stood for and like the man he was, I would give it to him. And like the way he played the game, obviously, like playing Wilt Chamberlain is not easy at all, especially young Wilt Chamberlain. Like, but yeah, I would give it to him at the end of the day.
That's a good one, especially that time era you mentioned, because I was listening to Bill Simmons' podcast and they were going through and, this is from Bill Simmons. So, again, that's my source there, which, Bill Simmons, pretty reliable guy. But he was telling a story that actually did hurt Bill a bit, because think Larry Bird followed him.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Bird got so much love and attention.
I agree.
He won 11 NBA championships, and that hurt him, man. Like he wasn't pushed out to the public the way Larry Bird was, and he was, obviously different times, but not that far away, and to do that and not necessarily be pushed into the spotlight the same way Larry Bird was, I think that actually did kind of hurt him, but obviously he was no hard feelings kind of guy. He was a great guy overall. Moving on here, we got a little bit of time left, so these will be fast. I have to throw him up here, LeBron James. He just is.
I respect that.
He just is.
If
he's in the GOAT conversation, like it's hard not to put him on there.
I agree. I would agree. For me, since you already said LeBron, I'm not gonna put LeBron out there. But I do respect LeBron. But I just, like me as a person, I don't really like him because like he always wins kind of thing.
The only thing
at the end of the day,
LeBron is business for me. I just wish he was open about his business. Like I'm doing this for money.
For sure.
I'd shake your hand on it and be like, all right, I respect you.
No doubt about it. Yeah, some things like LeBron does, I just don't like the way he approaches it. But for me, the last person I would put on there is Allen Iverson.
That's a good one.
The reason why is because like another documentary I watched of like the style back then of like the braids and the tattoos.
Just the amount of ISO play too.
Yeah, that too. He was really getting like backlash a lot from it. And like to be that young coming in the league and doing like being like trying to be you and like just trying to be there for your teammates and like try to play a game and like being asked questions and like becoming a meme from the practice thing, which has a backstory behind it because his friend got shot. It's just like the person who he is. Like I just feel like we don't talk about Allen Iverson that much, and like I feel like he started kind of like the fashion trend.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think AI is definitely honorable mention. I was thinking Wilt Chamberlain, obviously honorable mention.
That's a good one.
There's a lot more, but we are short on time. We're actually already at 7:00, but that's all right because we're streaming, so we're not fighting the clock. But we'll go ahead and wrap up things here. Real quick recap: Mount Rushmore's. I had LeBron, Steph Curry, Man, I left Michael Jordan off the list.
But like, if you really do think about it, Kobe and Mike are pretty much the same.
They are, and there's some people that don't like Michael Jordan. I don't know how many. I can't really count people that don't like Kobe Bryant.
There's another thing with like the business side of everything. Like, I would definitely put Michael Jordan up there because I've never seen anyone like, which this is sad, but I've never seen anyone get killed for their shoes.
Yeah,
which is really crazy.
Yeah, it is
at
insane.
the end of the day, which is why, like, as a player too, I would definitely put him up there because his competitiveness is on a different level. But yeah, I would say Steph Curry, Kobe, Allen Iverson, and Bill Russell for me.
That's a good list. And then I had LeBron, Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant, and then Magic Johnson. That's a good point to leave it here. Again, this has been the Walk On Weekly. I'm Harrison Arns. That's Jeff Grace III. We will resume next week, Tuesday, from 6 to 7 p.m. We'll catch you guys then. Appreciate you listening, and we'll see you guys all next week.
Capes is actively preparing for spring. Things like getting new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you best we can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan